starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, I need to let you know that the subscriber mode has been enabled, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. I also have a much smaller channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues regarding to Latinos residing in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. First of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to all those who already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a member of the Uncommon Folk from the very beginning or just recently joined as late as today, I really appreciate your love and continued support. And for those of you who are not familiar, um, my term for my supporters, I call them the uncommon folk because they are people that support me and support what I try to do. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices, and also those who watch from the clouds, including the haters. So, what I'm going to ask you to do if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So, tonight's topic, I'm going to be discussing the lies of the Freedom Foundation. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to explain to you why I came up to that title and what's the purposes of that organization. Okay. Now, I do want to state, as always, the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone at any time wishes to hit that link and join the panel and opine regarding the topic that we're talking about, they can do so. As always, I need to make this perfectly clear. If I've never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which would cause the people of YouTube to take down the stream. Now, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, unfortunately, we've been coming across many incidents where there have been airline um, collisions and disasters of which has been a loss of life. Okay. I cannot recall the last time we had so many different aviation disasters in any recent history. Okay. And first of all, our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers go out to the people who lost their lives in all these different airplane collisions and accidents and things of that nature. Okay. Now, generally, it's very safe um, to fly a plane. Okay. They do take many precautions, and the pilots are trained, the flight personnel is trained, those who work in the air, the control country trained. Now, what's the problem is, for reasons unknown to me, President Trump has been firing and laying off members of the Federal Aviation Administration. They're the ones that make sure that our planes travel safely from point A to point B. Now, you would think, considering all these aviation accidents that has been occurring, that instead of firing, letting go aviation staff, they should hire more aviation staff. Why? Because according to the gospel, according to Elon Musk, that it's a waste of money to have trained aviation staff to make sure that nothing happens. I think it's perfectly clear that the real president is Elon Musk, who, now mind you, he's not an elected official. He's not officially part of the government. Okay, he's not even a U.S. citizen. So how on earth he managed to get this much influence? Simple, by donating huge amounts of money to Donald Trump during his campaign. At some point, I may cover the topic. Uh, Before I do, do want to be fully versed so I can discuss it with a certain amount of intelligence. Now, last night, my friend Golden Goddess, he did a live stream um, talking about now the issues that are going on between the Exagos and the Creoles. Okay, um, I'm not gonna lie, I do not know a great deal about this conflict, um, so I cannot speak with any large degree. Anything I will say about it would be speculation. And one thing I don't believe in doing, I don't believe in spending a great deal of time discussing topics that I really don't know about. However, this is something that has developed within these YouTube streets. And it was good to see multi um, live in these YouTube streets. Of course, Multi has been on what I would like to call a YouTube sabbatical uh, for a certain length of time. And she had indicated that she will be producing content. Um, I'll be looking forward to it. And of course, provided I have her permission, I will share it. Okay. So it was, generally I had a great time um, interacting with Gigi and Multi. Um, there was this one person, I think her name's Queen something or other. First of all, I want to state that everybody, and I repeat, everybody has a right to express their point of view as they see fit. But the whole idea that I should leave New York simply because I'm not in agreement with some of the policies has to do with the fact that we are a sanctuary city. Really? Um, that's not an option. That's not a solution. Okay. And basically, I would be doing what some of the migrants have done is basically they left their homelands because for whatever reason, they perceive that they're not able to fix their problems over there, so they come over here. And some of them, unfortunately, have us, feel entitled to certain things. And unfortunately, we have not helped things by going out our way and giving up certain benefits that we don't give to our own citizens. Okay. Now, I get it. This is a humanitarian crisis and things of that nature. And of course, we should, do what we can to help. But the reality is, we cannot save everybody, number one. Number two, we also have our own citizens that need our help just as well. Okay. I mean, prior to the migrants coming to New York, we have over 50,000 people residing in the shelter system, homeless shelter system here in New York. So, with the arrival of the migrants, some of them undocumented, the homeless problem has multiplied 3 times at least, to the point that we were struggling to find places for them to stay. To the point where the mayor was actually asking us, New Yorkers, to open up our homes to these people, and then they would give us financial compensation. And the thing is this: I get it. They need, they're trying to, they're trying to adapt to a new life. But I'm sorry, I'm not gonna open up my home to people I don't know. Okay, because heaven forbid, you can have individuals that have criminal backgrounds, and unfortunately, some of these people have committed criminal acts. I mean, some people have robbed, killed, SA people. Some, not all, but some. And the problem is, we're not properly vetting these people. There's no way that we can vet hundreds of thousands of people properly. And of course, this is one of the issues that the previous administration failed to address properly. Now, I'm sure what will happen is, eventually some of these people will be returning to their country of origins. Either they're going to do it voluntarily, or they're going to be deported. Okay. One thing that I said, and I'm going to continue to say again: each country has a right to regulate who they allow in their native soil and under what procedures. And truth be told, we don't know how many of these undocumented people are residing in the United States. Some people say there are 11 million, some people say 12 million, other people say as high as 50 million, but really, we don't know. We really don't know. And it could be people that came here legally, with a visa, but overstay their welcome. Okay. And it could be people that snuck in either through the south, southwest, or the north via Canada. Um, when will this crisis end? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I do know is, we have taken out more than what we can do. Okay. And again, I do have a certain amount of compassion. I have some amount of sympathy. However, that does not take away the fact that we have our own citizens that we need to take care of, and we shouldn't neglect them by in order to take care of someone that's coming over here. Some legally, some don't. That is just my point of view. Okay. And believe me, me leaving New York is not going to It's not going to change the situation, the fact that New York is a sanctuary city. It's not. Um, I don't know how I became that way, but it is nevertheless. And one of the issues is that here in New York, people are guaranteed shelter, regardless of their situation and regardless of their legal status. So, and we have not, this country has not dealt seriously with the undocumented for a long time. So, as a result, Trump, while I may not be all crazy about his rhetoric, uh, his solution, massive deportations. So we shall see what happens going forward. That being said, we're going to get into the main topic. Now, some of you are wondering why am I chose to address this issue regarding the Freedom Foundation. First of all, let me just explain to you what is the Freedom Foundation. It is a organization, be it conservative, okay, that portrays itself to be pro-worker, okay, that portrays itself fighting for rights of individual workers. In reality, the Freedom Foundation, it's an organization which its purpose, its goal, is to try to persuade people who belong to unions to abandon their unions, okay? Because there's certain people that do have an issue with unions, okay? Now, let me just, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cam up for a moment. Okay. Now, what they have done is they have sent literature to union members using deception to try to encourage people to forsake their unions. Now, I'm going to now this is an example of a piece of literature that one of my co-workers received. And as you can see, it's on the front, it says, "Time to love yourself and break up with the union." Now, mind you, this is an organization that's supposedly pro-worker. Now, you're probably wondering, what do I mean by deception? Okay. Now, it's kind of hard for me to show you but as you can see here, the top it says, DC 37 Ask Me President, and it says Care of Freedom Foundation. Okay. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to portray themselves as a member of DC 37, which they're not. This is literature from the Freedom Foundation. Now, there have been various different organizations. There have been different organizations that have tried to do what they can to weaken unions. Okay. First of all, let's make it perfectly clear. Unions had played a very important role for people to leave poverty and to join the middle class. There are many benefits of which belonging to a union you would get. First of all, thanks to unions, you have a 35-hour work week. Thanks to unions, you have safe work environments. Thanks to unions, you have opportunities for promotion. Thanks to unions, you have medical care. Thanks to unions, we have pensions. Thanks to unions, we have due process. Thanks to unions, we have representation. Thanks to unions, um, we have a voice in case any member is harassed or exploited by management. These are some of the benefits that come along as a member of a union. Also, another benefit is that you cannot be terminated at will. There is a due process. Now, by leaving unions, okay, basically you're left on your own to negotiate whatever benefits, whatever raises in salary, and addressing issues with pertain to um, employment. Now, in a stream in the future, I will cover what are the benefits that do come along with being belonging to a union. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, hopefully. Oops. Now, this information is from the American Federation of State and County Municipal Employees, otherwise known as Ask Me. Okay, so here's the article. Freedom Foundation, yet again, it shows values of politics over lives. Okay, and it's a little dated, but it's from June 30th of 2020. Now, this is a situation where the Freedom Foundation has tried to stop people from working safe environments as far as safety protocols dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me just read what the article talks about. The right-wing Freedom Foundation filed a lawsuit this month in Washington State's Thurston County Superior Court, seeking to overturn the county's May 27th face mask directive. The order was issued to slow the spread of the COVID-19 virus and to help residents and businesses get back to work safely while protecting their families and communities. The lawsuit is just the latest a bit of divisiveness pulled from the Freedom Foundation borrowers' anti-worker bag of tricks. It clearly shows that the right-wing group is interested more in waging an ideological battle and less in protecting workers, putting their lives on the line for their communities. In the suit, the Freedom Foundation alleges that the mask edict, which requires people to wear masks in the presence of others, indoors and outdoors, violates free speech and is an example of virtual signaling. Now, how in God's green earth that interferes with free speech? You are able to speak your mind wearing a mask. Okay, you can speak. Now, I get it. It could be a little bit uncomfortable, but we're talking about in 2020. prior to coming up with vaccines. So the only thing that we had um, to protect ourselves, to provide safe protocols, is face mask, social distancing, and washing our hands. Uh, and of course, um, getting tested to make sure that you have not been exposed to COVID 19. But this couldn't be further from the truth, as the director says. Requiring Thurston County residents to wear face coverings in certain public places is reasonable and conducive to maintain health and the control and prevention of COVID 19. Fortunately, asking members are too busy serving their communities in the wake of a global pandemic to pay attention to the Freedom Foundation and any of these anti worker smoke screens. In fact, the Freedom Foundation name sounds familiar. It's because it's the same venue founded a group that was behind Janice versus ASME case up in 2018, seeking to destroy worker rights and derail labor unions while taking away workers' freedoms to demand a voice on the job and a seat at the table in the workplace. Yes, you heard of that correctly. The same group that's touting concern for workers work to destroy worker unions and now working overtime to rebel against life-saving recommendation of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Asking them to continue to serve their communities and keep our nation running. Here's some incredible stories. Okay. This is just, okay, so this is just, excuse me. So this is just part of the deception when it comes to the Freedom Foundation. Okay. First of all, they're not pro worker, they're anti worker. Okay. What they're trying to do is they're trying to deprive workers of a voice. Okay. And they're trying to deprive workers of an advocate which will fight on their behalf. That is the issue. Okay. I mean, another type of no. So what the Freedom Foundation does, they try to get the names and addresses of union workers for the sole purposes of sending deceiving literature in an attempt to try to weaken unions and in an attempt to try to weaken the voice of unions. Okay. Now, another example as far as this deception is they receive a mailing of which supposedly they will get a check for $850 if they decide to abandon their unions, and they will gain access to this money. First of all, it's all a big deception because if you take a look at the literature, it's deceptive. First of all, it talks about, well, that is what the average employee will gain by abandoning their unions. Okay, so it's deception. Okay. Now, one thing, and I bear in mind the following: are unions perfect? No. Have unions made mistakes? Yes. Okay. However, they have done more good than ill. And one of the things that I stress, that it's better, even belonging to an imperfect union, it's better than not belonging to a union at all. Okay, because the problem is once you don't have the protection of unions, therefore you have to advocate for yourself as far as working conditions, as far as raises in salary. Uh, you can be your employment can be terminated at will. Okay, and in fact, in many states, you have what I call right to work states. What it means is you can be terminated by your employer for any cause, and they don't need to explain why. Now, I have worked in the private sector where there was no unions involved. Okay, and I was fortunate in the sense that no, they didn't try to terminate me. But I consider myself more fortunate because I happen to belong to a union that fights for our members, that fights for make sure that we're given due process, make sure that our contracts are being properly enforced, make sure that there are opportunities for promotion, make sure that we have health care, make sure that we have pensions, okay, not 401ks, okay, but we do have, no, but we have pensions where, and social security where we are able to retire and live a reasonably comfortable life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article, and just to illustrate further that the Freedom Foundation is not an organization that cares about the well-being of workers, okay? But basically, um, their motivation is greed. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so this is another article regarding the Freedom Foundation. Yes, it's a little dated, but the information behind it is relevant. So as you can see, Freedom Foundation driven by greed, powered by lies. So the Washington State Federation of State Employees ASME Council 20 has launched a new online resource exposing the state's billionaire-funded think tank that attacks unions. The site explains that the Olympia-based Freedom Foundation efforts, their personal contact information for all state employees, is rooted in its founder's desire to cut public employees' pay and benefits and gain even more political power than they already have. Okay, let me just. The Freedom Foundation facts describe the group as a special interest tank founded by corporate and ultra wealthy who want to dismantle state government, cut public services and jobs, and hand the provisions of public services like education and worker compensation over to the hand of private corporations. They set their sights on unions because we're the biggest obstacle to their agenda. The Freedom Foundation has been demanding the names and addresses of state employees across Washington so they can contact them and urge them to withdraw from their union. Their efforts are couched in language about state employees' freedom, but at the same time, they're advocating against raises for state employees, to take away their pensions and even oppose paid sick leave. Now, mind you, this is an organization that likes to portray itself as being pro worker. They don't sound. I don't know about you, but they don't sound pro worker to me. Don't take ask me word for it. The website quotes Freedom Foundation staff and officers themselves as they explain the true motivation, which are anti-government and rooted in politics. 3 years ago, we started thinking about the plan for public sector unions going out and defunding the opposition and trying to weaken so we can get people elected that love freedom. Scott Roberts, Freedom Foundation staff, January 2015. I can't think of a problem in society that can't be traced in some way back to the abuses of organized labor. Really? Organized labor. Okay. Let me just move this. We, as conservatives, want certain things. We want education reform, we want pension reform, we want less taxes, and we want smaller government. And you're never going to get those things with the union in their way. Really. Freedom Foundation CEO Meg Cabral, I personally yearn for the day when the Mammoth State Department of Labor and Industry is closed down, windows shuttered, and weeds growing all over the sprawling campus. McCabe wrote that the last one of his former positions as the boss of the Building Interesting Association of Washington, he founded the Home Builders Association via a scheme that siphoned billions of dollars from the state-run workers' compensation system. But his legacy for big political spending, there very few victories, and his abusive rhetoric, BIAW once declared that Governor Chris Gregoire was a heartless, power-hungry she-wolf who would eat her own young to get ahead. Alienated government officials and some BIAW members. Ultimately, the final straw McCain's decision to spend more than $6 million in 2008 in a fair attempt to get Republican Dino Rossi elected governor amidst housing crunch that was devastating most home builders. The internal BAW acrimony that ensued led to McCabe's outset, but it was not before he negotiated a $1.25 million buyout and a year's of healthcare coverage as a parting gift. His work is now focused on defunding unions, and despite his organization's 10th extent status that is supposed to prevent it from engaging in politics, the Cags Freedom Foundation has repeatedly admitted that its mission is political in nature, to defund and discredit unions' political machine. His group is now the subject of an IRS complaint that claims that its 501c3 10% status is bogus. State employees should check out the Freedom Foundation facts so they can understand what is contacting them with funds for their efforts with their true goals are. So we're going to plug it here. So as you can see, deception. And I see here we have Greg Jones to join. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much. And we also have Miss Bethel join. Welcome. Bienvenido a la programación. So, and I see here we have Irby in the chat. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. So the topic for tonight is the lies from the Freedom Foundation. Okay. And for those who are not familiar, the Freedom Foundation is a right-wing organization that likes to illustrate itself that it's pro-worker, okay? But what they do is they use deception to try to encourage people to abandon unions for the purposes of weakening and destroying unions in general. So, excuse me, I mean, look, I can, one thing we have to bear in mind, and I'm gonna again, we have to continue to bear this in mind, is that are unions perfect? No. Okay. Any organization that has members will make mistakes. But I will submit to you that any organization, okay, it's not perfect, but but it is there to protect members. Exactly. I'm glad that you're bringing up this point, Irving. Okay. Now, one of the problems with the young people is that they don't fully understand, um, you know, what unions have gone through and all the rights and protections that unions provide. Okay, some of them assume that we always had these rights and protections. No, there was once a time that those rights and protections did not exist. There was once a time where you could be fired um, at will without just cause. There was a time when workers was exploited. Where there was a time when there was unsafe environments for people to work in. Okay, that's something that people, okay, they don't understand. And really, what we need to do is to educate the younger generation regarding, you know, the role of unions, and that they help many people to become members of the middle class. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article. Okay, just give me a moment. So this is some. So this article is some more facts regarding the Freedom Foundation. So the question is, the Freedom Foundation, they want our personal information of all state employees or municipal employees, because they're after our pensions, our health care, pay. They want to destroy unions. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, hopefully, I won't get hit with a community strike. But what I'm going to do now, this is Lee Saunders. He is the president of the American Federation of State and County Municipal Employees. So it's going to be, I'm going to share this video for the purposes of education. So let's hear what Mr. Saunders have to say.
Freedom. There's no principle that Americans value more. Freedom belongs to everyone, no matter what. Working people deserve the same freedom enjoyed by corporate CEOs to negotiate a fair return on our work so we can provide for the people we love. But freedom means more than making a living. It means the ability to financially support your family and having time to be there for them. Freedom means you can take your mom or dad to a doctor's appointment. It means you can attend a parent-teacher conference. It means after decades of hard work, you can retire with dignity. AFSCME and other labor unions provide the power in numbers to secure and protect these freedoms, not just for union members, but for all working people. We fight for affordable health care for everyone. We fight for strong public services like clean drinking water, safe roads, and quality schools. We fight for Social Security and Medicare so our retirees don't have to live in poverty. It's hard to believe anyone could be against these freedoms, but a lot of folks are. CEOs and the wealthiest 1% don't just oppose these freedoms. They spend billions of dollars lobbying against them. They want to rig the rules so working people can't take advantage of these.
So that is the ultimate goal of the Freedom Foundation: to weaken and destroy municipal unions so that retirees are unable to live with dignity, that people could be exposed to unsafe work environments, that people can be terminated from the employer without just cause. So now we will continue under fair use.
Freedoms. That means they're coming after us. Corporate interests recently petitioned the Supreme Court to take a case called Janus versus AFSCME, which threatens the ability of working people to join together in a strong union. They want to use the courts to chip away at the rights and protections unions have won for everyone. Standing together, we will push back against these attacks. We will fight for our freedom to prosper. We will stand up for the freedoms we're entitled to as Americans.
Okay. Now, I wanted to show this. Now, these are just municipal employees and expressing their opinions. Okay. We talk about unions should be able to advocate for fair wages. Unions should be there to advocate for opportunities for promotion, safe work environments, equitable treatment, regardless of race, equity, race, gender, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. So these are just people expressing point of views. Now, the Freedom Foundation wants your date of birth. Our actions have blocked them for nearly 4 months. And that's a good fight, because on August 16th, the State Court of Appeals extended the temporary restraining order against the release of your date of birth while the appeals go forward. The ruling issues the commission of the appeals court. So what they have done, they actually gone to court to try to gain access to members' personal information and their mailing addresses so they can mail their literature, so to speak. So as you can see here, this is dated, well, it's almost 9 years ago. Court has effectively blocked release of your personal information to the Freedom Foundation for at least 2 weeks. The motion by the Freedom Federation to block release of your birthday was continued or postponed until May 27th. And there's also a petition which means do not call, trying to prevent the Freedom Foundation from calling municipal employees. So let me just park it here. So that kind of gives you an idea, a more clear picture of what is the true goal regarding the Freedom Foundation. Okay, they are not pro-worker. They are anti-worker. What they want to do is they want to weaken and destroy the influences of unions so that conditions can return to a period before the existence of unions. Okay? Because it was thanks to the unions where you have child labor laws. Also, thanks to the unions, you have laws which prohibit discrimination based on gender, race, religious affiliation, political affiliation, sexual orientation, and other factors as well. And also protections against being discriminated because of your age. Okay. So these are the things that unions do. And this is why the Freedom Foundation is actively out there trying to weaken the influence and destroy the influences of unions. So therefore, the people who make the big bucks can get away with doing whatever. Okay. So that just gives you an idea regarding the role of the Freedom Foundation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just stay on for a couple more moments. If no one wishes to opine or hit the panel, I will start to wrap this up. But I truly believe that it was necessary for me to discuss this topic. First of all, because I do belong to a union. Okay, not only do I belong to a union, I'm also second generation union. My father, God rest his soul, belonged to a union. In fact, he belonged to the same parent union, which was the American Federation of State and County Municipal Employees. And of course, he was a member of District Council 37. Okay. And one of the things that my father taught me is the importance of unions and how unions have made lives better for workers. Okay. Now again, are unions perfect? No. Okay. But one thing I will say this, particularly when it comes to my union. Okay. First of all, there is a high level of accountability. Okay. If there's anyone that does not act appropriately representing the union, they will investigate and they will take appropriate action. So there is a high level of accountability. Now I see here we have a guest. So let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your right to. Good evening.
Good evening, Jose. How you doing? Thanks for having me up.
Hi. I'm fine, thank you. So the topic for tonight is the lies of the Freedom Foundation.
I will admit that I don't know anything about it, and because well, I've never been part of a union, and as I have shared with you before, I live in a state that is a right to work state, and they don't allow unions at all.
Mhm.
So, I mean, on this one, I really don't know anything about it. The only thing that I know about unions are like the movies that I have seen about the Teamsters, about Jimmy Hoffa. That, that,
Yeah.
that, that's just about all I know about unions.
Okay.
And when it comes to things that have to do with representing workers' rights, I don't think that a union is a bad thing. But if they can get too powerful and they can get corrupted, just like anything else, there are those things. I mean, I guess you can educate me on that. I can't claim to know anything about it.
Okay. First of all, let me just state for the record. I'm going to state the obvious. There's no such thing as a perfect union.
Of
Okay.
course.
Okay. So let's make that perfectly clear. But one thing that makes a union, I'm going to say effective union, because I don't believe in using the term good union, bad union, because it's too subjective. But one of the things that helps about a union being effective is the
Hmm.
level of accountability.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And I can say this much as far as my union is concerned, there's a high level of accountability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. As it should be. As it should be. Um. I, again, I don't know anything about it. I don't know how a union will be structured. I don't know if they have kind of like I don't know, like a board of directors or anybody who
Oh,
has any authority and they can make decisions and they can see that there are certain activities that are not endorsed or condoned or they don't happen. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, like you saying, but I don't know how much accountability a union can take if there isn't anybody. They don't have a department for that. The people assigned to that.
okay. Well, I'm going to speak about my union, which
Hmm.
is the Social Service Employee Union Local 371. That's the union I belong to. First
All
of
right.
all, you have the officers, which are the president, the executive vice president, the secretary treasurer, and the various vice presidents. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have an executive board which oversees the officers. And they're the ones that make the decisions regarding the activities of a union. Furthermore, in many locations, you have what are called representatives who are union reps. I'm also a union rep. Okay. Um, so we're kind of like the frontline soldiers. So
Mm-hmm.
what our job is to make sure that management is properly applying the contracts fairly and to advocate for the members when that doesn't exist. And of course, we as union reps are held accountable by the members. Okay, they can contact the union and complain if we're not doing our jobs properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see. I see.
Okay, yeah. I'm also am a trustee. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what we do is a trustee, we make decisions when it comes to our welfare fund. Now, welfare fund covers things is like educational benefits, prescription benefits, legal services, also um, as far as um, optical providers, dental providers. Um, so we make sure that whatever money is being spent properly for the well-being of our members.
Okay.
So it's very simplistic. It's just that I don't want to make this an 8-hour stream to discuss all the nuances.
I can imagine. I can imagine the complexities. But yeah. I mean, if you can put it like a very simplified, so we can have an idea. So yeah.
So
Okay.
so basically, the way it works is that the officers they execute the decisions, but the executive board makes the decisions, and also the members they vote for us as union reps, so they can vote us in and they can vote us out.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very. I don't want to make it into. I mean, I have to make it simpler because I don't want to make this into an 8-hour stream just to discuss all the nuances, but just to give you like a somewhat of a general idea regarding how unions functions and the governance and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Okay. Now, what the Freedom Foundation has been doing is they've been trying to get access to our mailing addresses for the purposes of trying to use deception to encourage people to leave unions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to trick people. They're trying
Exactly.
to mislead them. They're trying to lie to them. Uh, uh, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend them doing that if they're not in a right to work. Well, if they're not in a right to work state, and if there is a union that will actually represent what is in their best interest, then yeah, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Definitely, but there are people that say no because the unions are corrupt. They're there for the membership fees and things like that, and they enrich themselves that way. They say things like that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, one thing that we make it perfectly clear. Okay. We share the information with our members regarding what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, of course, we have our website. We also use social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, I'll use my platform to share information as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and plus, New York is a union state,
Mm-hmm. Right.
so it's a big difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Got you.
So how you been? How you been otherwise?
It's been okay. It's been okay. I'm a bit miserable because it's cold down here. But I don't want to talk about the weather.
Cold.
I don't
Okay.
want to talk about the weather, Jose. I don't want to get into that. But I can say that it's cold. It's cold down here.
Okay. What's your
Tomorrow,
definition of cold?
well, tomorrow is gonna be in the 20s. That's too
Oh,
much.
so that's spring like.
Well, okay, spring light for you. For me, it's cold. My my hands are gonna hurt. My feet are gonna hurt because because it's gonna be so cold for me. So yeah. But there may be some wind chill, so it might feel even colder than that.
Oh, you lucky dog, you.
The dog need to stop. Don't start with that. But aside from that, it's all good. I mean, I just wish it will get over it, and it will start to warm up, and things go back to normal when it comes to the weather.
Wow. Well, for me to be normal, we have to experience days when we have some single digits. To me, that's normal.
Yeah, sure,
No, but
sure.
no, but I know when it comes to people who live in a right to work state, some of the concept is could be a little bit different. So that's why I'm trying to break it down in its most simplest terms.
Yes. I got you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and and one thing I make it a point is that as a union rep, I try to inform the members regarding their rights and their privileges and things of that nature, and also whatever information that I get, I make sure that they are informed. Now, what they okay, looks like we just lost Ramon. Okay, let me just put the link again. Okay, oops. Okay. Hopefully Ramon will join the panel again. Um, it could be some technical difficulties. I mean, but getting back to the topic. It's unfortunate that you have organizations that their purpose is to try to uh, weaken and destroy the influences of unions. Now, I do understand that for people who work in a right to work state, that the concept could be foreign. Okay, but I will at some point um, have a stream regarding a full description uh, regarding what are the benefits. Also, I think I'm going to need to develop a stream regarding what is the typical, when it comes to governance, okay, how unions are governed, okay, and of course, each union will have its officers, okay, that performs different functions. You also have, okay, let's see if we, okay, welcome back.
Ah, yeah. Thanks. It's just that my stream here for some reason crashed. So, yep.
It's okay, but I mean, at some point, I will be doing a stream regarding the benefits that unions provide, also a
Mhm.
stream regarding how unions are governed. I think if people can listen to it, they can get more of a understanding regarding the function of unions.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out because that's a subject I really don't know anything about because I have never been involved in one. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
have to check it out. Hmm.
well, with me, it's different. Not only have I been involved in the union, but my father was involved in the union as well.
Mm, I see. I see.
Yes. Just out of curiosity, the avatar, is that a picture of your lady?
No, that picture is of a monument. When you go to, have you ever heard of Caguas on the island?
I don't think so.
No. Caguas is a municipality, a town. It's kind of like when you're on your way towards the center of the island,
Oh,
and
okay.
when you are entering the town, and you're entering the town. This is a monument. This is a big statue of a native of a Taína that you see when you enter the town. So it's kind of like towards the center of the town, but it's somewhat at the outer part where um, if you are entering via the old road that leads up to Caguas, you're most likely gonna see this statue. So this is a picture that I took years ago. I took this picture years ago when I was visiting the island. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
because actually I thought it was a picture of a silhouette of your lady. That's all.
No, no, no. No, it's a statue. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking about ladies, when you gonna produce any content?
Ah, hey, I was thinking about doing something tonight, but of course you were on, so I didn't do it. There is always that. And there is also a fighter. A fighter is also on, and you know that people are gonna be flocking there.
Yeah,
So
I know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So
Well,
I'll see if I can find a hole in people's scheduling, and I do a little something.
I'll give. Well, well, the next time I'll go live will be Friday, so you'll have tomorrow and you have Thursday.
Okay, I'll see. Let's see what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't get home too late, and yeah, yeah, I might have something on mind.
Yes.
I would like to.
Yeah, our friend Gigi had a stream last night.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know that she was kind of like being low key. She wasn't being. She wasn't being too visible at the time. You told me something about that. Um. Yeah. How was it?
It was, it was good. I mean, basically, we're talking about mixed race issues, and then it got into the situation regarding the migrants, and then
Mhm.
someone talked about, well, why am I living in a city where when it's a sanctuary city, and perhaps I should leave? And it's like, well, first of all, you don't know me, so I don't know why you choose to approach that topic. Number one, number two. I mean, just because I'm not in favor of certain things that happen in my city doesn't mean I should abandon it. I mean, basically, that's kind of like what some of these people have done. So,
Mhm.
but I just chalk it up that the person didn't know me. That's all.
Yeah, there are people that are always assuming shit, and uh, there is always somebody like that. I hope it wasn't like a large panel because there is always somebody like that when there are a few people on a panel. If we're having like a conversation like what we're doing right now is kind of like more one on one, or maybe there are three people on the panel, so it's a smaller group, so it stays more polite and it stays more civil. But the moment I have observed that if you have more people on a live stream, then there are more personalities to have to deal with, and maybe somebody is there trying to get attention, trying to be the center of the conversation. And it happens. It happens. Somebody runs their mouth the way they shouldn't. They're not very polite. So
No, I
there
mean
are those.
it was just basically including Gigi. There was Gigi, Multi,
Mm-hmm.
myself, and then this other lady on the panel. So there's four in total.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay. Damn.
Um,
She had never talked to you before, and all of a sudden telling you to leave your city? That's your city.
more or less,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
more or
shit.
less.
Mm.
But you know what? Look, I don't believe in getting into arguments because first of all, like I said, she doesn't know me from Adam. So why I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna argue with someone? I mean, she's entitled. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but doesn't mean I have to listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I mean, yeah. And of course, we're going to disagree. I mean, look, let me tell you something. How many? I mean, I have disagreed with virtually everybody that appeared on the panel at one point. I have disagreed with you. I have disagreed with Gigi. I have disagreed with Multi. I disagree with Denise, Rad, MK. I mean, just about everybody that appeared on the panel, I had disagreed with at least once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's fine as long as we keep it civil.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So after going back and after going back, I just decided to stay to my corner because I don't believe in getting into fruitless arguments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See. Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And one thing that I'm not into is trying to go back and forth with people because arguing when you have gotten into arguing with somebody, that person is not gonna be listening. I learned that a long time ago. That's why I don't. I definitely don't argue with. Do not argue with women because it's a waste of time and energy. You're getting into an argument with a woman. She's just trying to win. She's trying to win the argument. Whether she's right or wrong, that doesn't matter anymore. She wants to feel like she won. So I'm not gonna give her the pleasure. I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna let her argue by herself. And when she calms down, and she's gonna have to calm down. I know women don't like to hear that. To be told to calm down, but she's gonna have to. She's gonna have to do that, and then we can talk like adults again. But it's gonna have to
Um,
be like adults. Hmm?
it sounds like you have your share of argument with some combative ladies.
I've had my share. I've had my share. So yeah, yeah. I'm already a bit too old to deal with drama.
Wow, think about it. I'm gonna be 63 this year. So you think if you're old, I'm way past being old arguing over stuff.
No, getting old. I'm getting old because I'm pushing 50. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Well,
getting
I'll be
old.
60. Well, I'll be 63, but of course, according to some people, I already have one foot in the grave. So
Nah, no, you don't. No, you don't. You have a few more years. Just take care of yourself, and
yeah.
you should be doing okay. I mean, it's like with my aunt that I have told you about. I mean, she's gonna be like 76 years old, and she still lives by herself, maintains her house, goes up and down stairs, and paints, and do all kinds of things. She does that by herself, and yeah, she's still going strong. But I don't like her when she starts saying that she's ready to go with God and things. I'm like, Auntie, don't talk like that.
Okay.
Because she's my only remaining elder. I don't want her to go.
I mean, look, I think I'm gonna try to explain it in a way that doesn't sound too preachy, whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's certain people that in their own their own person, you know, they come to the point that eventually they're gonna die at some point, and they got into that acceptance stage.
Mhm.
And of course, we don't want people to go. Okay,
Yeah.
but it is a part of life.
Mhm. I
So
hear you. I hear you.
yeah,
I get it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, look, hopefully I'll be able. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself. So hopefully I'll be around at least until I'm 80 or what have you. I mean, but then again, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be the sweet old man and not the grumpy old man or not the horny old man like some people can be.
Well, yeah. It's up to you. I'm gonna be the impatient old man because I have been so patient with people my whole life that now, if I get to be older, I'm not gonna be very patient. I'm gonna be like, okay, get to the point. I ain't got all day. I'm gonna be like impatient, but that's because I have been very patient with people, and patience takes time, and I don't. And the older I get, the less time I have. So I'm not gonna be very patient with people anymore.
I get it.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Yes. Well, our friend Multi will be producing content pretty soon.
Yeah, good, good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Of course, she's trying to come up with a new name for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so one suggestion I gave her was Rebel.
Okay.
Okay, because in a way she is like a rebel. Another one is basically Dish. Because
Dish.
at one point she called herself Cake.
Oh. Okay.
So whatever floats her boat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's how she feel about it. How she see herself. Then I guess that's good.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Well, eventually my lady will be coming, hopefully in the summertime, to visit me for a whole month. So I'll get to show her New York,
Mm-hmm.
some of the cultural places. Take her to a couple of nice Dominican restaurants. Um, show her some of these things, and of course, show her some of the beaches that we have here in New York.
That's good. All right. That's good.
So yeah, and she's talking about staying with me for a whole month.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's gonna be during the summer, I guess.
Yes, because not during the winter, even though technically we don't have winter anymore.
Don't start with that. Yes, you do. Hmm. Yes, you
I
do.
mean,
I'm sure that Kishel would say different.
right now the temperature is a comfortable 21 degrees, so it's supposed to be going down to the
That's
teens tonight.
freezing.
Huh?
That's below freezing temperature. What you talking about?
No, you know what I call that? I call that light winter.
You say 21 degrees?
Yes, it's 21 degrees right now. It's going down to the teens tonight.
Damn. Damn. And to think that that's about the same temperature down here. I can't believe
Oh,
it. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And it may get a little bit colder. There was there was a in the weather forecast. There was a warning, kind of like a freeze warning. Yeah,
okay. So we talking about what? Teens?
yeah, yeah.
That's not
There was a weather advisory.
okay. So you got so you're getting a case of light winter.
We're getting wind chills. That's bad. That's bad. That's not a good thing.
Well, you know me, I'm different.
I know you're different. I know you're different. I know that I know you like your cold. I don't. I
Yeah.
can't. Like no thanks.
So I guess it's safe to assume that you will not come to New York on New Year's Eve and join the Polar Bear Club.
Nope. Nope. Not interested. Not
But
doing it.
I remember what around Christmas time, like over a year ago or something like that. The temperature was like in the low 20s, and there was a man walking on the platform. He was completely naked. Okay,
Hmm.
so he was just walking like it was summertime.
Hmm.
Then he decided to get on the track, and he lay down on the track. Then he started to climb over the railing. So of course I dialed 911 because I don't know whether this person was suicidal or the person
Hmm.
was on some sort of high some sort of medication. Because really you don't know. I mean the fact that he was walking around naked in the middle of winter, that's not normal.
Mm, right.
So, but but yeah, getting back, getting back to the, getting back to the topic. I mean, a lot of it has to do with, okay. There is a court case called Janice versus Ask Me. Okay, this is a case that was heard in the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court ruled that if people wanted to, they can they can abandon their unions and not pay union dues. Okay, the
Yeah,
problem
that
is,
might be that might be the thing that could mislead people into doing that, leaving the union, and it could end up hurting them in the long run. Yeah, yeah, that's it's misleading. Yeah, but what you're saying?
see, because before that, they were automatically deducting union dues from paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a person that objected, and it went to court. It went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that people can, if they want to, they can forsake, leave their unions, and they cannot be compelled to pay union dues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, people, if they want to do that, they can, but they need to be mindful of the consequences for leaving unions.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, and I actually, I know someone um, at my job who had a couple of bad experiences with our union. So I do allow her to vent because it could be frustrating when you have a bad
Yeah.
experience with an organization.
Okay.
So okay, so I'm gonna start to wrap it up. Do you have you want to stay a couple of minutes so we can talk privately in the backstage?
Yeah, I can hang out. I can hang out for
Okay.
a few. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we're gonna start to take closing remarks. So we're gonna hear from the person whose mission is to go to a Buffalo Bills game in the middle of winter in their birthday suit, who wants to join the Polar Bear Club, who does not think we have a serious rat problem in New York, who wants Puerto Rico to have have snow. The introvert Boricua.
No, no, I don't want Puerto Rico to have snow. I don't want Puerto Rico to be cold at all. We don't need that down there. It's a tropical island. We need tropical weather. Yeah, it can be a little uncomfortable to have all that rain, but I would rather have that than having cold. Even though there are certain places towards the middle of the land, towards inland, towards the countryside, where it can get fairly cold. It can get fairly cold, but that's because it's elevated. It's elevated towards the middle of the land. But yeah. Something that I wanted to say is that I appreciate you letting me be on your panel and this conversation. I guess, yeah. If you can elaborate on that, and you said that you are going to be doing something about the subject of unions, that could be beneficial for those of us that don't know. And definitely, absolutely. And because I really don't know nothing about it. So that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And of course, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask that you please subscribe to the introvert Boricua. Check out his content. And if you have not done so, please subscribe. So thank you very much. I'm going to put you in the backstage. So please don't go away.
Sure thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So now I'm going to give you my final thoughts. So the whole point was to discuss regarding the deception of the Freedom Foundation. So I just want to share my information, some things to consider. I will be doing a stream regarding unions and the benefit that unions do provide, and also watching on the play, watching, from the clouds and the chat. Thank you, Ramon, for stopping by. And the playback end, do your thing. Just keep the comments respectable. And of course, I'm going to close the same way that we always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do that, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, saying good night, take care, and peace.